Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Resident Evil 5 on Professional difficulty. This is Chapter 1-2. It's entitled Public Assembly. Although the Public Assembly fight that we were in is in this area here, and we're going to be leaving it. So we have approximately a 17-minute video, which will conclude with the Ouroboros test subject boss fight, the first of two in this game. And you want to come down here and pick up the barrel that's down here for you. Now, the thing I want to stress the most about this game is, and I hate saying it, but enemies are bullet sponges. It's so easy to call enemies bullet sponges, but they truly are in this game. So when I said last video that I was constantly running out of ammo, the reason is I was pumping lead into enemies non-stop and they wouldn't die. You know, I think the Gatling gun guys are probably the worst as far as being a bullet sponge. But we have this enemy here. You want to hit her like right above the knee, like in her thigh area. And to insta-kill an enemy, what you do is, see if I could demonstrate it. Sometimes if they're running at you and you do it, they fall over. But you want to shoot them in their, like, in the middle of their knee/thigh area. And oh, there's the woman in distress. We'll be meeting up with her shortly. You want to go back behind them and do the neck breaker. It's an instant kill. The only downfall to that, as far as it quickly and very swiftly dispatching an enemy, is that it doesn't deal any area damage like the other hits do. Like anything like, well, I thought I was going to do something different there. But I think the only enemy that I missed over here to kill was, let me just turn around here. He's over to the right beyond the fence. If you aim your reticle at this guy, the enemy will go through the door and greet you with a hatchet. There's not too many enemies that throw like axes and pitchforks like in RE4, but there's plenty of sequences where they're shooting at you. So we're going to have Ada, what the hell's her name? Sheva, go up this ladder, and it's an optional area to get a key, which will enable us to get the shotgun. So I'll probably release this in conjunction with the first video. I did have to return Arkham Knight. I had played it for about, it said 2.2 hours on Steam. Sometimes I think they really round up those hours. But I was given a refund back, even though Valve didn't have to refund my money, because Arkham Knight, when I first played it, I thought it was my rig, even though I had the recommended card, the GTX 760 that it recommends, and it was like sub 10 frames per second. And I thought it was just the game being really demanding, because I remember when I was running Arkham City, that game was extremely demanding. But whenever that game gets released, probably in the fall, I'll cover it now, because I want to play it on the PC at 60 frames per second like it should have been. So see, the problem when there is no games to play, which is not what's happening now. The problem when there's no games to play is that you're bored and you're kind of depressed because you don't have anything to play. But the problem with too many games, like there was on Tuesday, I had 3 games to play. I had this, Arkham Knight, and Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. The problem with that is your mind is just so fragmented. It's like, do I play this? Do I play? You can't pick a game. It's just hard because you want to play everything. You want to cover everything. You want to be on top of the releases. So it was kind of fortunate that Arkham Knight is not working, so I could just eliminate it as a game to play. And I struggled. I was doing a little merry-go-round over here, and I busted up laughing when I was playing over here because I got a neck breaker on that son of a bitch. But just watch out for that guy. There's going to be one guy coming over to the right. You notice that the developers have retained that glance when enemies are coming from off screen, out of your peripheral vision. The antagonist will turn his head giving you an indication of where the enemies are coming from. But I love this game. Like when I was playing Arkham Knight, I kind of got the vibe that it was, and I won't be talking too far off subject, but we're just going into a house over here. It just kind of felt like Batman Arkham Knight, and I know it. I know, trust me, I know all about the Arkham games. I've played them all. I've done no upgrade runs for one of them. I just got the feeling that it was trying to get me involved in an experience. I don't want an experience though. I want an honest to goodness game. Like, this is really a gamey game. That's what I really like. Like, with a lot of buttons, a lot of things to collect, a lot of ammunition, a lot of... It's hard to describe, but you know what a game is. Like, a game that you're participating 95 or more % of the time. And on the extreme end, I guess you could say, like, what was that game? The Order 1886, where you're participating 5% of the time, and the game's saying to you, just lay back, just sit back, watch these cutscenes and watch these movies, and occasionally we'll ask you to sit forward and participate. But when I play this game, although I realize it's extremely inferior to its predecessor, I have to realize that it's gorgeous, it runs great. I've taken the motion blur off because I was actually watching a Total Biscuit video, and the guy's really smart. As much as I don't care for him, but he was mentioning that motion blur makes videos on YouTube have a lot more jitteriness to them and tessellation. You can take this bitch out with a neck breaker. Sorry to be so vulgar about it, but she's rather problematic. So essentially, one bullet and then snap her neck. And then we've got one of these situations where I was really comfortable, and then I really screwed up in the next part, but I wanted to retain it because like there's nothing perfect about my guides. I try to make them as precise, and I try to go to painstaking labors. Oh, there's some asshole out on the roof out there. There's also a chicken on that roof too. If you wanna slice them up, get yourself an egg. Hopefully it's not a rotten egg though. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, there's nothing perfect about my guides. This is not a no damage guide. It's not a no damage guide because this game is harder than Resident Evil 4 for the simple reason that it doesn't work as well. And if you do think that this game works better than RE4, you're either deluded or you've never played RE4. And I still will be parceling out those videos. I've got about 12 privatized videos right now, and videos that I release at this current time, they're suffering quite a lot because I think Arkham Knight and Devil May Cry 4. So when I was playing Devil May Cry 4 as well, you can actually, if you didn't know, you can buy the ability to unlock all of the difficulty modes for $1.49. I don't know if it's a Steam exclusive thing, but I picked it up. I bought all the DLC. Look at all this stuff. See, you can survive grabs here and everything as long as Sheva revives you. But I instantly unlocked all the modes. I started playing as Virgil, and I really hated it. Maybe it was because you start off playing one of the shittiest bosses in the game, Dante. But I don't like Nero. Or excuse me, I don't like Virgil. I've never liked him. I just don't like the way I don't like his movesets. I don't mind using his weapons, but I just don't like the movesets that the weapons have. And I just, down and out, I'm a Nero purist. I love Nero. But then when I was playing that game, it's just, I did that game twice recently. It was last year. I did 2 guides for it, so it just, I don't know if I'm going to cover that game, to be honest. So I'll just have to look into it. Maybe, you know, nothing is certain. Not everything I say is immediately cast into iron in this channel. So I might take a look at Virgil. I started playing it. I didn't like it. I also played as Lady. Didn't really like it either. But when I was playing as Nero, I was having a blast. And I think the main reason is his grab. His throw is so fun to use. So I apologize for speaking off topic. I won't let it happen again too many times. But we are coming up on a boss. I didn't know if I would beat this game. Last night I beat it. And the thing is, you can really exploit this game. You can grind for money in a lot of areas. You can become as overpowered as you want to. But I think as a guide maker, I have to be restrained as much as possible. So that's why I did actually purchase the gun that I'm wielding now. This gun sacrifices criticals because the gun that you get by default can be upgraded to have critical modifiers for headshots. The second gun that you can get in this game is a $4,000 gun, and that has a special feature of having piercing rounds to go through enemies. This weapon that I'm using now is just for pure damage, because I've gone through the game and I realize that enemies take a shit ton of damage to take down, and the only way to take down an enemy like that and preserve your health, to preserve your ammunition, is to have the damage output as high as possible. I'm sick of it. I love this game, but I don't like the fact that you have to pump a million fucking rounds into an enemy to make them fall. And it's not just bosses, it's standard enemies. Those cigar chomping Gatling gun guys are the worst, I swear to God. So anyway, we're gonna come up here, and this is actually a test subject. You'll see the corpse when we dispatch this guy. So you'll grab the furnace key, and you can't actually push down the exploding canisters quite yet. So I personally believe that you should only have this guy go into the crematory oven twice, but that doesn't kill him. So what you're going to do is put the gas on the floor, and the idea with this guy is that you want him to pass over them on the ground and have him pick them up, and I think he tries to eat them, or just tries, I'm not sure what he does, because his tentacles get in the way of the gas. But I'm going to use this for spread damage, and this is the way to do it. You lure him back in here, take him down, and he'll dissolve onto the floor. Head over to the switch, and then what you need to do is make sure you kind of go into the oven a little bit just to bait him so that he moves along on the floor. Sometimes if you're out here, he'll go the opposite way, and it won't work because then he'll leave the door. So you need him to go into the door on the other side each time so that you can pull the lever safely. And sometimes he won't pick this up, and I think the reason is because he hasn't regenerated one of his arms, so he can't pick it up. I think that's the reason. Just watch out for his arms. And I've also put the word single player. Did you guys read the description? Most people regard this as a co-op game, and I can't fault them for that because it's designed for co-op, but I don't like multiplayer, and I don't like doing co-op experiences. I like the sanctity of a first person, or of a single player experience. So here we are again. We're just luring him back to the oven, and it looks like, see that he didn't pick it up. So what we're gonna have to do is just kind of hover around it, wait for him to pass over it, just kind of stay close to him, and then when he picks it up, my experience is don't sprint too far away from him. I also have the Resident Evil 4 controls, so if you are struggling with a control scheme to get comfortable with, I would highly recommend this one. It works pretty well, but everybody is different. So this will be the second time we've put him in here, and did you see how close he was to me when I shot that and it didn't damage me? That's really generous. I appreciate that. So pull the switch and just head over to the right so that you kind of lure him over there. But as long as the door is mostly closed, he won't go through. He doesn't slide under it. It's very fair. And this works the same way on Veteran. To unlock this difficulty, you have to play through Veteran. And I experienced the same thing here. I put no damage points on him. I put him in the oven twice, and he didn't die in Veteran, and he's not dying now. So what you're going to have to do with no more gas canisters left is just shoot him. Shoot him, throw grenades. Shoot him, obviously, in his weak areas. And, you know, always give Sheva her ammunition. You can use her as a pack mule to store some of your stuff, although the main problem about this game, though, is that you have to switch your items and go through your inventory in real time, and it's such a hassle and so unreasonable during hectic combat that it's almost one of the failings, I think, of this game, that it's in real time. I don't think there's any place for it in a game like this, especially the way that RE4 works so well, where you went to your attaché case, you had your time, you had your free time to pick it and choose what you wanted without pressure. And what did they want? Did they just want the player to have pressure on himself? I'm sure that's what it was. But it's just another failing of the mechanics. I mean, you can't even move. Like in this mode here, I always have her have all the healing items too, so she can heal you instantly, so you don't have to fumble in your own inventory. I mean, you can have one if you want to, but what was I saying? Anyway, we're almost coming up on the conclusion of this chapter, you guys. I will see you. That case right there had a gun, which I've already obtained. So I will see you in the next chapter, 2-1. Take care.